Hey, we're jumping into what I think might be the greatest survival story of all time. We're talking about Sir Ernest Shackleton's legendary Antarctic expedition, a story of just impossible odds, total failure, and some of the most incredible leadership you'll ever hear about.
So, picture this. It's 1914. Shackleton sets out with this goal that is just mind-bogglingly ambitious. He wanted to be the first person ever to walk across the entire continent of Antarctica. But as you can probably guess, that plan went catastrophically wrong. And here's the crazy part. It didn't end in tragedy. Nope. Instead, it became one of the most incredible stories of survival and human endurance ever told. So yeah, let's get right into it. I mean, you have to understand, the whole idea was just breathtakingly audacious. We're talking about a time with no GPS, no high-tech gear, no way to just call for help. It was purely human will against the absolute harshest environment on our planet. Okay, so here was the plan. Shackleton and his crew of 28 guys were going to sail their ship, the Endurance, to a spot called Vosel Bay. From there, they'd hop off and start walking, and it was a staggering trek. We're talking nearly 3,000 kilometers, right across the South Pole. The goal? Make it to the other side, the Ross Sea, in about 4 months. So they get to this whaling station on South Georgia Island, basically the last stop before the Great Unknown. And the seasoned whalers there, guys who know these waters, they give them a pretty stark warning. They say, look, the ice out there in Weddell Sea, it's the worst we have ever seen. But Shackleton, he was determined. He decided to push on anyway. And well, the whalers were right. It didn't take long. Soon after they entered the Weddell Sea, the Endurance got completely trapped in the pack ice. I mean, frozen solid. The ship became a prisoner of the sea, just drifting wherever the ice took it. For 9 long months, that ice just squeezed and squeezed the ship. You could hear the timbers groaning and splintering. And then finally, on October 27, 1915, Shackleton had to give the one order nobody wanted to hear. Just a few weeks later, the whole crew just stood there and watched in silence as the Endurance, their home, their last connection to civilization, was crushed and swallowed by the ice. And just like that, it was gone. Now they were completely, utterly alone, stranded on a floating chunk of ice, hundreds and hundreds of kilometers from anywhere. So what happened next is just an unbelievable test of the human will to survive. Their ship is gone, so the men, they set up this makeshift camp right there on the ice floe, and they just start drifting. A long, totally uncertain drift across a frozen ocean. Get this, for an incredible 497 days, not one of those men felt solid ground under their feet. 497 days. That's over a year, surviving on nothing but a drifting piece of ice and 3 tiny lifeboats. And this right here is where you see Shackleton's genius as a leader. He knew the biggest killer out there wasn't going to be the cold or starvation. It was going to be despair, hopelessness. So to fight that, he set up these super strict daily routines. Everybody had a job, from hunting to just chores. He controlled the food rations like a hawk, not just to make them last, but to keep morale up. And in this really powerful move, he took his own gold coins, threw them in the snow, and basically said, this stuff is worthless now. The only thing that matters is survival. Okay, so after months of just drifting, their ice floe finally starts to break apart. This forces all of them into those 3 small lifeboats. They had to battle these freezing seas for days until finally they land on the shores of this place called Elephant Island. It's desolate, it's uninhabited. I mean, yes, they were on solid land, but they were still totally stranded. Their ordeal was nowhere near over. Shackleton knew, for sure, that no one was coming to find them. If they wanted to be rescued, they had to do it themselves. And this left him with a truly impossible choice. Option A, try for Cape Horn. It's closer, only about 800 kilometers, but it means sailing through the Drake Passage, which is literally the most dangerous stretch of ocean on the planet. Or option B, aim for South Georgia Island. It's way further, 1,300 kilometers, but the winds and currents were more likely to be in their favor. He chose the longer path. So Shackleton and 5 of his toughest guys pile into this one little lifeboat. It's only about 7 meters long, called the James Caird. And their mission? To cross 1,300 kilometers of the Southern Ocean. I mean, this is a stretch of water that sinks modern freighters, and they're gonna try it in a tiny wooden boat. And somehow, incredibly, after 16 brutal days at sea, they actually made it to South Georgia. But they landed on the wrong side of the island. Their boat was basically wrecked.
The only way to the whaling station was to go over the mountains. So Shackleton and 2 other men, with 0 climbing gear, they literally pushed screws through the bottom of their boots for grip, set out to do something no one had ever done before: cross this unmapped, glacier-covered mountain range.
After 36 hours of nonstop hiking over mountains and glaciers, exhausted, frostbitten, the 3 of them just miraculously stumbled into the whaling station. This was the exact same place they had left almost 2 years earlier. They had made it. They were safe. But the job wasn't done.
Right away, Shackleton's mind was on one thing: the 22 men he'd left behind on Elephant Island. Think about them for a second. They're just huddled on this miserable beach, supplies running low, and they have absolutely no idea if Shackleton and his crew even survived the boat trip, let alone if help was ever coming. But back on that island, Shackleton's second-in-command, a guy named Frank Wild, kept hope alive. Every single morning, no matter how grim it got, he would say the same thing to the men. It just shows you the absolute, unwavering faith these guys had in their boss.
And he kept that up for 128 days. Can you imagine? They were huddled under 2 overturned boats for shelter, eating penguins and seals to survive, getting through the brutal, dark Antarctic winter. All of it just waiting for the boss to come back.
Meanwhile, Shackleton was fighting his own battle. He was relentless. He tried 3 separate times to get a ship back to the island, and 3 times the pack ice was just too thick and he was forced to turn back. But he absolutely refused to give up. And on his 4th try, on August 30th, 1916, he finally got through. Remember, he started this whole thing with 28 men.
And as his ship got closer to that beach, he's counting the figures he sees on the shore. And they were all there. Every single one of them. Against all possible odds, all 28 men who started the journey came home alive.
So when you think about it, the expedition was a total failure. I mean, by its original goal, right? They never even started the crossing. But it's remembered as one of the greatest triumphs in the history of exploration, which kind of leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? What does it really mean to be successful? Maybe it's not about achieving your original goal, but about leadership and courage, and what you do when that goal becomes completely and utterly impossible.